Becca. Why don't you tell us a bit more about yourself and where you come from?
Yeah, my name is Becca Benning. I'm a functional health coach based in Bromley, which is in either Kent or South East London, depending on your perspective.
So tell us a bit more about your training and what you specialise in.
I trained with Chris Cresser at the Cresser Institute and did the ADAPT-Certified Functional Health Coach training, which is amazing. So there was a big focus on behaviour change. And then also the kind of context of functional medicine as well. So there was all kinds of, we learned mindfulness and all sorts of things. It was incredible. And I also am a functional nutrition counsellor, which is more about the physiology and anatomy and that kind of thing, and kind of assessing in a different way. And then I'm also an AIP-Certified Coach and a former primary school teacher.
So it would be really interesting to know which, autoimmune conditions, that you've struggled with and found your way through. Tell us a bit more about that.
Many. It's the short answer. But yeah, I've got the first diagnosis that I got was multiple sclerosis. And since then, I've been diagnosed with celiac disease, psoriasis, and I also have thyroid dysfunction and adenomyosis and a few other things that are sort of... still, to a degree, a bit mysterious, but they're there and have been there for a long time.
So if you could tell us a little bit more about your approach to autoimmune health and how you support people with autoimmunity.
I like to, a lot of us, you will hear, talk about the pillars of autoimmune well-being. And there's a particular order that I like to approach them because it's about, from my perspective, really building a solid foundation in these basic areas that you can then use to build on, and it gets you kind of almost 90% of the way that you want to go before you get into troubleshooting the specific diagnoses that you might have. The baseline work that a lot of us need to do there's a lot in common between all the different kinds of autoimmune diseases. So I start with looking at stress and sleep quite often, and then community and kind of social connection and connection with nature, and then also movement and diet do come into it. But often people find that they're not quite ready. The big changes to diet and to the way that they move feel too daunting until they've got a bit of a handle on some of those other things in terms of stress and sleep. And I work particularly my clients and I work together to design and implement a plan of sort of realistic small steps that are going to take them in the direction of reducing inflammation and helping them to feel like themselves again. Because we so often, when we're struggling with big diseases and with the ones that are just kind of in the way of our day-to-day lives, we lose that sort of spark that feels like ourselves. So it's about trying to help people get back to that, but in realistic increments. So it's not it breaks it down to avoid overwhelm, and it's not about kind of having to overhaul your entire life all in one go. I work a lot with educators as well as just generally with people with autoimmune disease, because there is an enormous crisis in the education system, and teachers are extremely unwell often. And I think it's an urgent situation where we need to intervene and make sure that we're taking care of the people who are in the job now, and not just kind of relying on being able to find an infinite supply of new people to come in and take over as the old ones fall by the wayside.
Yeah. So if someone was starting out on their journey now, what one piece of advice would you give them as they start out?
I think it's hugely important, and something that I would have loved for someone to have said to me right at the beginning. You have more power than you think you do over the way that you feel, and that it's okay to go slowly, and that every small thing that you do really does count. It will make a difference, even if it feels like it's a kind of minute step at first. Then if it's taking you in a good direction, it's worth it.
Okay. So where can people find out more about you, and where do you live online, and how can people get in touch?
I'm pretty easy to find generally, and most things are under my name. So my website is beccabenning.com, and if you look up my name, you'll find me on Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. I've also got a TEDx talk that's available online, which you can also find on my website, called Everyday Ways to Love a Struggling Body, which is kind of about my personal history with the small steps approach and the cumulative power of doing lots of little things that are going to benefit you. So yeah, if you Google my names, a lot of the time it comes with CHC on the end, which is Certified Health Coach. But yeah, that should be most things covered.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Becca.
Thank you.